Hello, welcome to Easy Physics. Let's discuss some more questions from June 2018 CSIR NET Part B portion. In this question, three vectors are given to you. V1 is equal to 2i plus 3k, V2 is equal to I plus 2j plus 2k, and V3 is equal to 5i plus j plus alpha k. And you have to find out the value of alpha for which these vectors are linearly dependent. Now the condition for linear dependence is V1 dot V2 cross V3 is equal to 0. And we can write this equation in the form of matrix where A1, B1, C1 are the components of V1 vector in I or X, Y, Z directions. So we'll find out the value of A1, B1, C1, A2, B2, C2, A3, B3, C3 from these vectors V1, V2, and V3, and we'll make a matrix, and then we will calculate this equation for the value of alpha. So we all know how we solve the matrix. 2 into, we'll multiply 2 with alpha minus 2 into 1. So 2 into 2 alpha minus 2 minus A12 is 0, so this will be 0, plus 3 into 1, 1 into 1, 1, minus 2 into 5, 10. This will be equal to 0. Solve this equation, you will get 4 alpha is equal to 247 plus 3. After solving this, you will get alpha is equal to 31 by 4. So the option 1 will be correct. So this question is from Fourier transform. Formula is given to you for the Fourier transform, and you have to find out the Fourier transform for function e to the power minus mod x is. So no need to remember the formula. Formula is already given in this question. Now you need to do, just put the value of fx over here. Fx is e to the power minus mod x. So this function will act like e to the power minus x for minus infinity to 0, and this function will be e to the power this mod x. I'm talking about this mod x. So e to the power mod x is minus x. So minus x will become plus x in the range minus infinity to 0, and in the range 0 to infinity, this e to the power minus mod x will become e to the power minus x, because e to the power mod x will act like e to the power x only. So this is e to the power minus x. We can write these bases are same, so we can write this as e to the power x plus ikx. Here we can write it as e to the power minus x plus ikx. Now differentiate it. So e to the power x, integration of e to the power x is e to the power x, and integration of e to the power alpha x is e to the power x alpha x upon alpha. Here alpha is 1 plus ik. Okay. So I have integrated both the terms. Now solve this. So when you put e to the upper limit, then this will become 1. When you put lower limit, then this term will become e to the power minus infinity, that is 0. So the second term will vanish. You will have only first term. Now talking about the second term. So take minus sign common in this bracket, and now put the limit. So e to the power minus infinity will become 0. So the upper limit, the term using upper limit will vanish, and the lower limit is 0. So the second term is from the lower limit. Okay. Now what you will get, e to the power 0 1 plus ik minus of e to the power 0 1 upon ik minus 1. Now solve this. So after solving, you will get 2 upon 1 plus k square. Means the options C will be correct. Okay, now let's discuss the next question. So next question is from the ordinary differential equation. d2x by dt square plus 1 upon x dx by dt square minus dx by dt is 0. Some boundary conditions are given in this question. You have to find out the value of xt at t is equal to 2. Write the differential equation and try to find a known form of this differential equation. So for that, I am substituting x square as z. So after differentiating it, you will get 2x dx by dt is equal to dz by dt. Again differentiate it, you will get this kind of form. And this is something like d2x by dt square plus dx by dt whole square. Okay, now you can write this first two term as d2z by dt square over here. So you will get this kind of differential equation by substituting x square is equal to z. Now you can solve this in the above equation by using the auxiliary equation, find out the root of the equation, and then find out the solution. This is what I have done. D square minus d is equal to 0. So the root of this equation will be 0 and 1. So c1 e to the power mx m1 is 0 plus c2 e to the power m2 t. So m2 is 1. So z will be equal to c1 plus c2 to the power t, and z is x square. We have substituted z as x square. So x square will be equal to c1 plus c2 to the power t. Now put the boundary condition which is given in this question, that at t is equal to 0, x is 0. At t is equal to 1, x is 1. So put the value. So the first equation you will get, if you put t is equal to 0, x is equal to 0. So you will get c1 is equal to 0. c1 plus c2 is equal to 0. You will get c1 plus c2 is equal to 0. Now at t is equal to 1, you will get second equation. Now solve these two equations and find out the value of c1 and c2. So after solving, you will get c1 is equal to 1 upon 1 minus c, c2 is equal to 1 upon e minus 1. Substitute the value in the solution and you will get x square is equal to 1 minus e to the power t upon 1 minus c. Now you have to find out x at t is equal to 2. So put t is equal to 2 over here. You will get 1 minus e square upon 1 minus e. Solve this. You can expand this numerator by a square minus b square formula. So you will get 1 minus e, 1 plus e divided by 1 minus e. So you will get x square is equal to 1 plus e. So x will be equal to under root 1 plus e. So this is your answer. Now this question is from the complex variable part, in which the function is given to you. Function is fx comma y is equal to 2x plus 3x square minus y square plus 2y 3xy plus alpha y. And you have to find out the value of alpha for which this function is an analytic function. So first you should know the conditions for analytic function. So the conditions for analytic function is del u over del x is equal to del u over del y, and del u over del y is equal to minus del u over del x. So using one of this condition, we can find out the value of alpha, because we know u is the real part and v is the imaginary part. So u is 2x plus 3x square minus y square, and v is 2 bracket 3xy plus alpha y. Now, so I'm using the first condition. So for that, I have differentiated the first equation with respect to x, and I will get 2 plus 6x. And after differentiating the second equation v with respect to y, you will get 6x plus 2 alpha. So when you equate these two equations, 6x will cancel out and you will get alpha is equal to 1. So alpha is equal to 1. Means option 1 will be done. Now let's move towards the next question. So with this next question, yes, a particle moves in the one-dimensional potential Vx is equal to alpha x to the power 6, where alpha is greater than 0 is a constant. If the total energy of the particle is E and its time period in a periodic motion is proportional to which power of E? You have to find out the T in terms of E. Okay. So you give potential is given to you. It's a one-dimensional particle is moving in one dimension. So the kinetic energy of the particle will be half mx naught square. You know that kinetic energy is half mv square and v can be written as x dot. So the kinetic energy of the particle is half mx dot square. So the total energy will be sum of kinetic energy plus potential energy, means half mx dot square plus alpha x to the power 6. Okay. Now you have to find out the value of t. So this equation is something like differential equation, because you can write here x dot is dx by dt. Find out the value of dx by dt. So you will get equation like this. Now separate out the part, separate out dx and dt. Now integrate this equation, integrate both sides. So I have put it, to solve this equation, I have put it x3 is equal to under root e sine theta. So I just need t in proportional to e. So I will not solve this equation. I will not find the complete solution, but I will do just to separate the terms related to e. Okay. So what I will get after solving this, I will get t is proportional to e to the power minus 1 by 3. मैंने पूरा सॉल्व नहीं किया है, सिर्फ मैंने वो टर्म्स कैलकुलेट किए हैं जो जिससे e सेपरेट आउट हो जाए, एंड देन I prove that t is proportional to e to the power minus 1 by 3. You can pause this slide or you can pause the video and see the solution of this equation. Okay, now let's move towards the next question. So in the next question, potential is given to you and you have to find out the frequency of oscillation. Particle undergoes a small oscillation about an equilibrium point and you have to find out the frequency of oscillation. Potential is given to you. So now for the frequency, you should know the formula for the frequency, which is that omega is equal to 2 pi under root del 2v over del x square upon n. So we have to find out the del 2v over del x square around the stable point. Just need to remember this, that in the formula you need to put the value of del 2v over del x square for the stable point. Okay, so for that we have to find out the stable point. Okay, so differentiate it, del v over del x, find out the stable points, the equilibrium point, you can say, find out the equilibrium points, which is x is equal to 0 and x is equal to plus minus under root k upon lambda. Now put the value of now again differentiate it, del 2v over del x square, find out the del 2v over del x second derivative of the potential. Now find out the second derivative of potential, put the value of equilibrium points. So first I have put it the value of x is equal to 0. So del 2v over del x square is negative. Negative means unstable point. And negative means maxima and maxima means unstable point. And del 2v over del x square at the other equilibrium point we got a positive value. Positive value means minima, and minima is a stable point. Like, so so this is a maxima. So particle is here. Tendency of the particle to go down. Okay, to find the minimum energy state. And if the particle is here, so this is a minima. Minima means a stable point because particle want to stay in the minimum energy state. Clear? So when del 2V over del x square is positive, so positive means the stable point. Okay, now put this value 2k in the frequency formula, which is I have already told. So the value of frequency will be root 2k by m. So this is the answer of this question. In this question, you have to find out the electric field and magnetic field corresponding to scalar and vector potentials, which is given in this question. So electric field in terms of the scalar potential is minus grade V. V is 0. Scalar potential is given to you 0. That is that electric field will be 0. E will also be 0. Now for the magnetic field you can find out using the vector potential by taking a del cross A, by taking a curl of the vector potential. Now put the value. So there is only z component in the vector potential, means x component is 0, y component is 0. There is only a z component in the vector potential. So you will get only y component. Magnetic field's y component, which means the option 1 will be correct. If you want more videos or more solutions like this, for that you just need to do one thing. Press the thumb icon, subscribe and hit the bell icon, and please share with your friends. Thank you.